I am the greatest.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
You won't do shit. Just stick and move. And waking you up and saying, now stick and move. Keep your hands up.
Welcome to a new episode of the Stick and Move podcast. I am your host, Trey, here with my homeboy, Sam. And today we are talking about a controversial subject. Is Manny Pacquiao the greatest boxer of all time? Sam, just hit me in the face. Or you know what? Tell me. What are your thoughts about Manny Pacquiao, his whole career, before you tell me if he is or is not the greatest?
Look, man, I'm one of Manny Pacquiao's biggest fans, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy has given us the best fights. Well, at least for me. I mean, so many fights that he fought, bro, with Mosley. I remember seeing him when he started with Agapito Sanchez and Lelo Ledwaba. And dude, fighting Mosley, De La Hoya, the wars with Marquez, the wars with Eric Morales, Barrera. I mean, dude, he fought Floyd, he beat Broner, he beat Thurman at 40 years old. I mean, dude, David Diaz, I can go on. The annihilation of Margarito, the annihilation, destruction of Cotto, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, 8 division world champion.
12 world titles, brother.
12 world. I mean, dude, the guy, he's in many people's eyes as the greatest of all time, bro. The best pound for pound fighter that's ever lived. You know what I mean? So it's hard. It's hard to argue it, man.
I just remember watching his rise. You and I did an episode when he fought Morales. Like, even though he lost that fight, for some reason, that loss propelled his career, because we saw a boxer, bro, that brought the fight. He was willing to, get into a brawl to show his mastery as a boxer. You know what I'm saying? So when I would watch him fight many, decades already now, right? And even his last fight, even with Ugas, he's always been a competitive fighter. And he brought so much joy to me watching him, because to me, he was kind of a throwback to those guys from the 70s and 80s that just, that fought all 12 rounds, always hunting, always moving. Like, his head movement was his defense, and going forward, his speed was his defense. And I took a great appreciation to that. So when I hear people say he is the greatest boxer of all time, I got to be honest with you, bro. If I ask 10 people who is the greatest boxer of all time, I would say 8 out of 10 would probably say Ali. And the other 2 would probably say Pacquiao. I'm not even joking. I hear Pacquiao more often than I thought I would when I ask regular people who is the greatest boxer of all time. And maybe they're confusing it with maybe pound for pound all time versus the greatest boxer of all time. Those are 2 completely different subjects. But I don't know, man. I mean, I don't have a problem with people saying he's the greatest. What do you think?
Look, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. He's one of the greatest boxers, fighters of all time, bro.
Okay, so you're saying right there he is not the greatest of all time.
No, I can't give him.
Hey guys, Trey here. If you love today's controversial episode and you want to see our channel grow, please drop a like, subscribe, and also comment. Sam and I are always going back and forth with those commenters on our controversial topics and opinions, and we love it so much. So go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe, most importantly, so our channel can grow and we can give you guys the best content as possible. Sam and I were always uploading multiple videos a week, and we want to continue doing that, and we need your help. So go ahead and subscribe, guys. And most importantly, like I always say, don't forget to stick and move, baby.
Give him the greatest, but I mean, he's top 3, man.
Okay.
Of the
Okay.
greatest fighters of all time for me.
Really, really. So
Yeah.
let's talk about it. Let's break it down. I mean, look. Well, I know what everybody's thinking. What about Mayweather? Right? Those two guys are linked in history just as much as Ali and Frazier is.
Mm.
So, does the fact that Pacquiao has losses on his record impact your decision to not put him as the greatest?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. I look. God, man, you're gonna put me in the spot, and people are gonna hate, and people are gonna hate me for this.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta understand, for me, Manny Pacquiao is the greatest fighter of all time. Fighter of all time.
Okay. So you're saying greatest fighter of all time.
Yeah, he's the greatest fighter of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not the greatest boxer of all time.
Ooh, okay. All right. So,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. This is the reason why
All
he's
right.
the greatest fighter because he fought great fights and
Mm-hmm.
he's defeated a lot of great champions.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, the boxer for me, it has to be Floyd
Mm.
because he's undefeated. There was
Yeah.
nobody, bro. It was an accomplishment. It wasn't when Floyd was fighting. It was an accomplishment just to hit Floyd,
I agree. I agree.
just to hit him.
Okay.
You know, and Manny, which I have him as the greatest fighter because the way he fights, I just love his style. He fought everybody, anybody, and the way he attacks,
Mm-hmm.
and the person he was in and out the ring. But there was some fighters he could not beat, bro. He just couldn't beat them.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate a little bit, bro, and I'm gonna say I'm putting myself on the spot because I have such an affinity for Muhammad Ali. I mean, you and I have him our number one all the way across the board
Yeah.
and everything like that. But bro, I gotta be honest with you, bro. I'm gonna say that he is the greatest boxer of all time. And
Mm-hmm.
I can already hear all the comments telling me I don't know what I'm talking about, and that is fine. But listen, bro, and he went to every fight, like you were saying. Not only did he challenge, but he went in. When he was in the ring, he was going to give you all 12 rounds of everything he had. I mean, look, bro. I mean, you look at his accomplishments, bro. Like you said, 12 world titles in 8 weight classes. He won from 107 pounds all the way to 150 when he beat Margarito at 150 when he fought at what, 146, 147
Yeah.
or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. And a huge height disparity. The people that he has retired, he retired Thurman. I mean, Thurman didn't fight again for 3 years. I mean, there was COVID involved, but everybody else was fighting. Bradley didn't fight pretty much after him, if I'm not mistaken. Margarito was done. Hatton didn't fight after 3 years after getting knocked out, what was it, in the first or second round? And that's because he already fought Floyd Mayweather before he fought Pacquiao. There's also Cotto. Cotto, I mean, geez, I mean, the way he battered Miguel Cotto, I was kind of like what Margarito did to him, to Cotto. I was like, dude, Margarito looked like he could have killed Cotto in that ring. I think you've talked about that before. And here's Manny Pacquiao, this little, what is he, 5'4", 5'5", just to be generous guy, little punches of fury. Made Cotto look the exact same way. He busted the orbital bone of Margarito. I mean, yes, it sounds like I am saying he's the greatest fighter, but at the same time, in my opinion, bro, like boxing, okay, I understand is showing your defense, is showing your offense, but bro, like his style was meant to be countered. You know what I'm saying? And when he would get countered, he did lose fights because of that, but I don't take losses as taken away from his greatness. I know we live in that era nowadays. If somebody has a loss, they're pretty much taken out of the conversation. But if you would have seen this guy fight in his prime in the 2000s and early 2010s, his style to me was everything as a boxing fan and lover like you and I can appreciate for generation to generation. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I think there's a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, I get what you're saying. He did to some opponents that Floyd couldn't do. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't, Floyd couldn't destroy Cotto the way Manny does. But that's why I say I'm gonna give Manny Pacquiao is the greatest fighter, bro. In my opinion, of all times. But when it comes to boxing, the stick and move and hit and not get hit, the greatest boxer that Manny could not beat was Floyd Mayweather. So I look.
There's
bro,
some gray in that.
Yeah. You could say, oh, it was 5 years, 7 years too long. Manny Pacquiao got knocked out. That's when Floyd wanted to reach out and fight him. Blah blah blah. Whatever happened, whatever it is. But the point is, Manny didn't beat him. And now they're saying that he had Manny Pacquiao had a something was wrong with his shoulder. I don't know what, but Manny couldn't turn down the money. Whatever. But for me, bro, Manny's the greatest fighter, but Floyd is the greatest boxer. Dude, I mean, his record says it. All the champions he's fought in, the way he fights, people can't even touch him, bro. I'm not gonna put Floyd underneath Manny Pacquiao. I just can't.
Well, let me ask you a question then. Is Floyd's 50-0 record more? What is a more breakable record? That one, the 50-0, or 51? I know he's doing a bunch of exhibitions now, or the 12 world titles in 8 world weight divisions.
Well, the thing is that Floyd fought all. Who's gonna fight all these champions Floyd fought though? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's fighters out there that can have a good record. You know what I mean? But I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, who's gonna capture that? But who says somebody can't capture 12 titles ever?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to think. I mean, who's coming close? But look, bro, it's like for you to go from 107 all the way up to 150. What that does to the body, yes, I agree with you. He is probably the greatest fighter of all time. But you got to have boxing skills to go through each and every single one of those divisions over and over and over. And not only that, but take out the best. And not only take out the best, but do it in a fashion, bro, where a lot of these boxers never really came back again. Look, the way he beat down Cotto, Cotto had no chance. And then you can arguably say that Cotto, when he fought Mayweather, beat Mayweather the most out of the last any fighter that he ever took on.
Yeah, that was the Floyd Mayweather. In my opinion, that was Floyd's roughest fight, was with Cotto. But so how do you explain Manny not beating Floyd though?
I don't know. I think we need to watch the fight because I remember watching it, and like I always say, I come from a boxing family. I watched that fight with my grandmother. She was like 83 or 84 at the time. We were watching the fight, and her and I were like, I think Manny Pacquiao won. Like I had it as a draw. I could see a draw, but I could see the crowd. I could see where referees could have picked Manny Pacquiao. I don't know. I need to rewatch that fight. Perhaps we should do an episode on it again. But I don't know, dude. I mean, do you really think Floyd won that fight decisively?
Look, we got to watch that fight. We got to watch that fight. But I remember seeing the fight, And for me, Floyd outsmarted him, bro. Floyd outsmarted him, bro.
I remember.
If I can
Go ahead.
recall, Manny was throwing wild punches and he was missing, and Floyd would dodge and crack him. That's what I remember. We got to watch it again. We got to do an episode where we do our cards, but that's what I remember.
There were times I remember watching that fight where, I remember telling myself, "Oh, there goes Floyd. He's doing what he's famous for doing." Where, I know it's a tired out cliche when people label Floyd Mayweather, and believe me, Floyd Mayweather, in my opinion, is probably the greatest of all time. We haven't done a top 3 greatest boxers of all time yet. We're kind of saving that for later, but he's definitely on that list. Okay. But I remember, it's the whole stepping back and just kind of dancing around the ring, running around the ring, or walking around the ring. And, I mean, I'm always going to give the guy moving forward in that round to the guy moving forward if a boxer's doing that. Like when you and I talked about De La Hoya and Trinidad, those last 2 or 3 rounds, you know what I mean? When it's that obvious, I'll give it to the guy going forward. But back to the point. I don't know, man. I mean, is it egregious if somebody says Manny Pacquiao is the greatest of all time, in your opinion, or is that out of bounds?
No. I get it. I respect it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's just that I understand what you're saying. How the hell did Manny get all the way up to there in his career without being a great boxer too?
Mm-hmm.
I just think that Manny had something that Floyd didn't, and that was power. But I think boxing wise, Floyd was he was a step, as a better boxer than Manny Pacquiao, in my opinion.
Okay, I'm cool with that. I'm cool. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if put it this way, if Floyd had Manny's power, Floyd would be 50-0 and 48 knockouts, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
And not to cut you off. If Manny Pacquiao was an American boxer, would it be different?
If Manny Pacquiao was an American boxer, would it be different? No, I don't think so. Okay. I don't think so. I don't think that has anything to do with it.
Yeah, this is a good conversation to have. I'm taking the devil advocate's way because I do agree with you that, of course, Floyd Mayweather is the better boxer, and you're right. Pacquiao is definitely the better fighter, but I just think to go up that many weight classes, I think we're kind of pigeonholing Manny Pacquiao's greatness and just saying that he is just a straight up harder, faster puncher. Because I honestly think to get from that point to that, because you're learning different classes, right? Taking on mandatories, going different classes. I mean, I know it was the era where there was what do they call it? The ABC belts, right? There's a belt for every freaking division, right? Every freaking weight, like 500 belts, it seems like, so it's easier to get that record. But dude, I mean, there is skill involved when you're jumping up. When you go from 107 to 115 or 123 or 130, I mean, those are big old gaps. And we're gonna see, we saw it with the CANELO versus Jermell Charlo fight. Like, I don't think, in my opinion, now that I think about it, I rewatched that fight. I don't think Jermell Charlo was just there for the check. I just think that he was stumped. He felt the power. He felt the weight difference. I think that it took courage for what Charlo did, in the sense that, he was humble and he knows better. That's why he even said after fight, I'm going back to 154. Like, this is just too much. But yet here was Pacquiao, just every opportunity he had, just went up and up in class. And not only did it, but he had like a 7-year reign, bro, where he was box office. And to me, that takes boxing skill. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that it was his aggressiveness and
Mm-hmm.
it carried his career.
Yeah.
I think his speed and power is what got him to where he's at, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think it was, um, Freddie Roach, his heart, his power, his aggressiveness is what got him to where he's at. And
Right.
of course, he has skill, bro. Of course, he has boxing skills, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Setting up traps, cutting the ring, and countering, doing everything he has to do. Of course. But
Mm-hmm.
you're asking me, is Manny Pacquiao the greatest boxer ever?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm cool with it. You know, uh, I'm cool with it, but it's not 100. I can't just give him that with all
let
the
me
other fighters that are out there. I just can't.
let me ask you this, and then we'll get to the elephant in the room. So remind me. Let me ask you this. I mean, we don't really do Mount Rushmore on this podcast, but would he be on your Mount Rushmore of greatest boxers of all time?
Of greatest boxers of all time. Greatest boxers of all time.
The foreheads. Would he be on the
The
forehead?
foreheads. He has to be.
Ooh, okay.
Manny. I'm sorry, but Manny has to be one of the greatest fighters that that's ever got in the ring, bro. In my opinion, yeah.
I agree with you. He would definitely be on my Mount Rushmore as a fighter and as a boxer because one thing that I loved about his fighting style, bro, was not only his aggressive, combinations, but I loved, and I mean I loved his head movement. Probably like the most perplexing head movement defense I probably have ever seen. I mean, that guy is constantly moving and he brings it the entire fight. Very impressive. Now, let me get to the elephant in the room. And if you want to yell at me, that's fine.
Go ahead.
There's a lot of allegations on him that he was on steroids. And once, because how many years did we go? Was it 5 out of those 7 years where we wanted that Mayweather versus Pacquiao bout to happen? And Mayweather was always saying, take the Olympic test, take the Olympic drug test. And he never did. Or there's a lot of politics involved. Do you think that steroids had to do with his success? I mean, first of all, do you believe he was on steroids? And if you do you think it had a lot to do with his success?
Um, you know what, man? I don't have any proof. I haven't seen any proof of that.
Right. There hasn't been any proof.
Yeah, no, I don't believe so. I
Mhm.
think that that he grew, he got bigger, bulkier, whatever, since being a small guy through nutrition, man.
Mhm.
And the exercises that he did. I mean,
Mhm.
bro, if you can't prove, if you can't show me a test that said he tested positive, if then I can't put that code on him, bro. I just can't.
And they always
I
test them after the fight too,
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I just can't, bro. You know um we have
Because
to see it, bro. Go ahead, go
because
ahead.
here's what a lot of people say. When he started testing more often, he got off. This is what they say, the conspiracy theory that he got off the roids because he was being targeted by the steroid. What is it? Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank of the group. But anyways, that he had to get off it, and that is when he kind of lost his KO power. What do you think of that theory right there?
No, I believe what he said. I
Mm-hmm.
believe what he said. I don't know how many years ago it was. I forgot who he was gonna fight or after he fought somebody. I don't remember. But he said that when he got in the ring and he was fighting, that he felt that the beast was taking control.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And he goes that's when he turned more to the Bible.
Right,
And
right,
that's
right.
why a lot of people were like, dude, he has to put the Bible away because he's not He doesn't have the
killer instinct.
Yeah, the killer instinct anymore. So that's my opinion. I believe what he's saying. There was a moment where he was a beast, bro. And then it's like that saying, he had to control it. And when he was like when he was controlling it and becoming more to the Bible or whatever, right? More religious. I think the notion to kill, it just he didn't have it anymore.
Right.
That's just my opinion.
I actually agree with you. I think once he got into religion, it kind of had like the opposite effect with George Foreman, because when George Foreman came back, what was it, in 87, if I'm not mistaken, George Foreman, he was a softer fighter, not as aggressive as he was in the 70s, but dude, he never went down in his comeback once, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And I think for Manny Pacquiao, when he had that rebirth, I think it did soften him up a little bit. I don't think he was going for the kill anymore. Look how he was before, bro. What he did to Margarito in revenge for Miguel Cotto. Right? Yeah. The way he made De La Hoya quit. The way that leaping left that he did to Mickey Hatton was nasty, bro. I mean, this guy was just a nasty, brutal fighter. Look at his bouts with Morales, right? I mean, he made Barrera, bro. How many? I mean, what is it? One of his fights, a disqualification, if I'm not mistaken, because he got Barrera out of his norm and just made him fight the fight he didn't want to fight. He schooled Barrera, and I don't know. I think Manny Pacquiao, to sum up our conversation, I think he's just, I don't have a problem saying he's the greatest of all time, to be honest with you, man. Go ahead. I'll let you have the last word on that.
Yeah. I'm going to say he's the greatest fighter of all time. And I always stood on that.
Right.
When they asked me who was the greatest fighter, boxer, puncher, whatever, I would say Manny Pacquiao. But boxer, just straight boxing, it was Floyd. Okay. If Manny Pacquiao, look, I'm not saying if they didn't meet 7 or 5 years earlier, Manny couldn't beat him. I actually think Manny could have beat Floyd 7 years before they fought, in my opinion, because I remember, and I was criticized for saying this, and I'm going to get a couple of people pissed, but I didn't see Floyd anywhere when Manny was chopping heads, bro. There was a good span of years where Manny Pacquiao was killing everybody, bro.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a period I didn't hear anything about Floyd.
I remember that too.
Yeah. And I think it was around one of the times when he destroyed David Diaz. Anyways, and yeah. I mean, he just destroyed him. And anyways, but I got Manny Pacquiao as the greatest fighter of all time when it comes to boxing. That's it.
All right, my man. So we'll leave it at that. Do you have any final words for our viewers out there?
Yeah. Thank you guys for commenting. I'm trying to, get to everybody's comments, and, keep liking and sharing our video, and subscribe. Thank you, guys.
All right, guys. So we'll leave it at that. Just like Sam said, just go ahead and subscribe. Refers to a couple of your friends. I love boxing as well. Go ahead and leave a comment. Who do you think is right, Sam or me? I'm probably going to lose that bout, but that's okay. I love the conversations. And like I always say, guys, don't forget to stick and move, baby.
I am the greatest. I wish I was 50 years younger and I